Hi everybody, and welcome to Crimson Court Abridged. This is an abridged version of the session, and I will be posting one of these every single week after each session, probably on Wednesday or Thursday. The abridged sessions, my hope is for them to be anywhere between 40 minutes to an hour long, depending on what happens in the session. This is a way for you to catch up and be able to be there for the live stream without having to catch up on about 4 hours worth of D&D session. So with that, Crimson Court Abridged. Hope you enjoy. All right. So with this, we begin session 1. Act 1, chapter 1. Begins right now. Our gaze instead turns to Adaria, a kingdom in the western reaches of Illica, born from blood of dragons and shaped by the ruin of civil wars. 1,000 upheavals tore at its foundation. In a turning point, though, a great heroine by the name of Elendara Falkrest, the Usurper, a title she claimed proudly, rose against Alistair Draven, the Lich King, the King in Crimson, and banished his terror from the lands. Her victory ushered in an unprecedented age of peace in Adaria, continued by her eldest son, Edamir, and now by her youngest son, Talon. For 32 years, Talon the Kind has reigned in Adaria, a man now in his 70s. Beloved for his fairness and compassion, yet he's made no claim as to who will inherit his throne. There are 5 children who bear the Falkrest name, each with a rightful argument to rule, and the line of succession remains tangled as old loyalties, ambitions, and fears swirl just beneath the surface. A choice facing Talon grows more urgent with each passing day. For if his children quarrel without his guidance, Adaria's hard-won peace may splinter, plunging the kingdom once more into bloodshed, negating all his mother, Elendara, fought to protect. But the heart of this tale does not belong to Talon. It belongs to his children, those 5 heirs whose decisions, loyalties, and desires will determine the fate of Adaria. Their story now unfolds under watchful stars and uncertain future, as they step into the great legacy left behind by Elendara the Usurper, and bear the name that might yet unite or tear the kingdom apart. Now, our session does not begin with any one child in particular. Our session begins on a rainy day in the empty council chambers. So within this empty council chambers, it is a grand room of imposing size. It is designed to remind all who enter of the kingdom's power and scope. The western wall is lined with tall arched windows that open up onto a terrace overlooking the city, its streets bustling far below. And to the east of the room, another set of windows offer a view at the expansive sea, its waves glinting underneath the autumn sun, as our children of the king, enter one by one as the rain patters against the keep, as they wait for their meeting that their father has called them to. The first to enter the room is Xanthi, the first nobleborn of Talon's heirs. Xanthi, as you open the doors to the council, you recognize that you're the first one here. So Xanthi, you stand near the king's seat, lingering maybe just a little bit too long, as you hear the doors open. And stepping through is your sister, Kaylin. Kaylin, as you enter the room, what is your initial reaction before you even look at the room to seeing the only other person in here is Xanthi?
Well, I will say, as Kaylin left the apothecary, her entire demeanor changes the moment she steps into the keep. While she's in the apothecary, she has this very kindly, almost welcoming to those who stop by, but the moment she steps into the keep, it's almost like a flip of a switch, right? Her eyes sharpen and narrow, and she holds her head just a little bit higher, walks with a little bit more purpose, and not as open. And so, wearing this face of determination, she will head towards where she knows everyone is meeting. And then she opens the door and she enters. It's not surprising, right? Of course Xanthi's here first. She always is. So, I think Kaylin goes out of her way to not even acknowledge her existence. She just opens the door and enters the space.
As you do, at that same moment, Xanthi is adjusting one of the chairs, moving it back. And Kaylin, you notice that there are a few rats that dart from beneath the table to the very, very back of the room, scurrying to a small hidden opening in that back wall.
And kind of like initially be watching them, but she'll look up to Kaylin and especially Samson before she speaks and just says, really ought to have the rats of this keep killed.
You know, it's amazing, Xanthi, that you continue to make it through every day with such a tiny little brain. It's a wonder how you remember how to breathe.
Such aggression, dear sister. I would have thought it'd be common sense not to have vermin running around.
These are my friends.
The
It
rats.
seems like, of course, and it seems like you've scared them off. You look lovely today.
I'm surprised that you are well, next to come. Although I do admire the fact that you are putting some priority for the family. It is good to see. Genuinely.
Well, decorum, right?
Decorum.
That's what we're supposed to do.
As the doors creak open once more. And Merrick,
You son of a bitch.
you step into the room. And as you open the doors, you freeze for a moment because you see the two of them. The awkwardness hits you like a wave.
I imagine, like, he doesn't say it out loud, but I imagine he just sees him. He's just like, oh, for God's sake. And then he'll turn to his sisters. So you've both been summoned here as well.
Yes, I do assume that is all of us. I think the verdict remains on whether or not Edwin will be here, but... Well, I suppose that would dictate how important this meeting is.
I wouldn't put money on it.
I imagine he will. My letter seemed to insist that this was of great importance. But we will see.
After just a few moments of silence, as Via, you enter into the room. Not nearly as awkward as when Merrick entered, but still tension between the two sisters standing incredibly close to each other.
All right. So yeah, she'll like take in how cold this room is, and she's gonna like kind of almost like bound over and like be like. First, she's trying to decide if she should go to the sisters or to Merrick first, but I think she'll like go to the sisters and like take both their hands and be like, "I'm so excited. I don't know what's going on, but I don't have to work anymore. So something big's happening."
Temporarily, not evermore.
And she's gonna bound on over to Merrick. You still playing with the birds?
That's all I do, little wisp.
And she's gonna go over and like pet the little bird as Fiddle probably is just following behind her at some point. I don't know why those two are sitting so close to each other. Why are they doing that?
I think they do that because they feel like if they don't, one of them's backing down, so they get as close as they can to show that they're both like brave to each other, you know?
You know, we can hear the whole conversation you're
This
having.
is a private conversation. Do you mind, Kaylin?
Nothing is
Sorry.
private in this place, Merrick.
So anyways, that's what I think, but I don't know. You'd have to ask them.
Okay, well, why don't we just also, and she's gonna take Merrick's hand and bring Merrick, come on, it's not that scary. We are all family.
All right. So after a few moments of silence, lingering, and some idle chit-chat between those siblings that are willing to talk to each other, the doors creak open once more, and stepping through is the final child of Talon and the oldest, Edwin.
But as the door creaks open, there is a knock at the door as he opens the door, and all of you just hear, "Hello? Is this room occupied?" And he opens the door. "My family!" And he runs over and looks
Via
at
will
Merrick.
climb out of the chair to hug you.
Oh, wow.
It's
Via.
been so long! Oh my gosh!
I have missed you.
Oh, I miss
Wow.
you so much.
You're getting really tall.
Taller than Kaylin, just by like that much.
That is amazing. How's school?
Oh, all done. I graduated actually.
There's like a brief pause.
We invited you.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. He invited you.
Merrick, and he kind of and looks over
Brother.
towards Merrick. How is everything? How are the Falcons? How is what you do?
Oh, they're just great. I'm engaged now.
That is amazing. To who?
Lady Solara from House Astralore.
And how long have you known her? Or is this one of the... It's arranged?
Mother set it up.
But you're happy.
Yes.
Good. That is all that matters. And he, keeps looking at Merrick. How long have they been in the room together?
They can hear you, apparently, so there's no point of whispering.
He turns. Kaylin!
Oh, you remember who I am this time.
Come on, that was so long ago. Almost exactly 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Look, you can't keep holding that grudge. It's not good for your soul and spirit.
I don't
Plus-
have a soul.
Everyone has a soul.
Joking.
I know, your humor is so great.
I know, thank you.
How is everything? How is the apothecary?
Great.
Good.
And what do you do again?
Well, lots of things. Liaison for the king, healer in Nornathi, a missionary, cleric, eldest son of Talon. I have a lot of titles. Prince of the Pauper. I do a lot of things.
Except for be present, right?
Yes, my work does take me away for some time, but I always come back, and you know this, and I always bring gifts as well. And he reaches into his bag.
Gifts.
Yes. Before that, he looks over. Xanthi. And he walks over towards Xanthi. You look very regal. Very good. Did you sharpen your horns?
No, they grew like that.
Wow.
Part of not having a soul. And she will look at Kaylin.
Just to let you know, you have a couple of frays there. Hold on.
Oh, gods.
There you go.
It is so nice to have you back, Edwin.
I'm so glad to see all of you. I have missed you so much. I had so many stories to tell.
All right. So with that, a few more moments of small talk passes. But then eventually the doors of the council chamber open once more. A measured creak as it reveals Lord Regent Gareth Thornfield standing at attention. The imposing Owlin, who stands almost 7 feet tall, dressed in gold, green, and brown, wearing the regent's ring on his left hand. King Talon Falkrest, your father. A man in his 70s, though time has touched him lightly. His salt and pepper hair is mostly black, but there are streaks of silver, and it is braided with a thin cord of green silk in honor of House Falkrest. His beard is neatly trimmed, and though he has begun to slow in his movements, his youthfulness in his gaze remains clear, his gaze briefly lingering on each child before giving them a small, knowing smile. He moves towards the head of the council, and he sits in his chair. All of you sit as well. Lord Gareth stands behind him. Look at you. Look at you all, my children. All of you here. Together. How long has it been? What? Via's choosing ceremony? I know it's been sooner than that, but it feels so long. Too long. since I've heard your voices in the same room, not through letters or couriers, but here within these walls. But I can feel the tension between all of you. Good. Makes me even more certain of my decision. Tell me, what does anyone here know of the King's Hand?
Well, the King's Hand is the kingdom's greatest weapon, moving to any threats before they grow, and ensuring that the kingdom could never remain weak.
Well, yes and no, almost. That's what a history book may tell you, a study, perhaps Blade Master Alexi has told you of it before. The King's Hand does serve the crown, it executes its will, and it ensures the stability of the realm. That much is true. But in practice, it is so much more than that. The council is the king's mind, the brain that helps govern the kingdom. But the hand is action. The hand simply does not wield the king's sword, Xanthi. At times, it must become his shield. Or a healing poultice gesturing towards Edwin. His gaze goes over all of you, softening. And now, my children, you will be that hand. You will be my hand. There's a beat of silence, only the distant murmur of the city below breaking the quiet. There is much wrong in Adaria. Much that needs dealt with, much that needs seen to, and I personally cannot handle every problem as much as I would wish to. So I will send all of you on a mission together to try and help mend these wounds and protect these people. Your people. Our people. Each mission, you'll go out, you'll accomplish your mission, and you will return here. And when you do, each one of you will debrief with me alone. I need to know how you think, how you lead, and how you might rule. It matters more than you could possibly know. Lord Gareth, if you would. And Lord Gareth says, "Yes, my king. Of course." And the low, booming voice of the Owlin opens up that chest, and he hands each one of you a pin. A brass pin symbolizing you as a member of the King's Hand. A gauntleted fist with a sword behind it. And he looks to the rest of the kids. Does anybody seem to have any, boiling anger or very apparent disagreement?
Edmund looks towards Xanthi.
I think Octavia looks just really concerned and confused, more so than angry.
Kaylin was staring very intently at Talon the entire time he was speaking. And then before they move on, her eyes kind of flicker towards the corner of the room as if she's searching for something. And then pulls her attention back, but she doesn't say anything.
I think Xanthi was definitely furrowed brow through most of that, but holding her tongue for the most part. But during that pause, I guess, kind of bring it to an end, she will say, "Is there a reason for the timing?"
Yes, I've done a disservice to all of you. There is a demand of me to put this question as to who will be my inheritor, who will inherit the crown. But I cannot, in good conscience, choose one of you currently.
So this is a test.
It's not a test. It is a desire for me to see how you act, how you would lead. It's not a test. No, you're not being graded. I need to know in moments of stress, in strife, in disagreement, in pain, sorrow, in all of those complicated feelings that come up in conflict, how you act.
And you do not feel as if you know us already? I'm sure there's no need for, well, deny it or not, a test.
I know my children. I know my dear, sweet Xanthi, who would hold her tail when she was scared, when she was just a child. I know Edwin, who would stomp around the halls when he was a teenager because there wasn't the right food that was in the kitchen for him. Via, who would scribble notes all over the wall because she couldn't find her book. Kaylin, who was quiet as a mouse, but when you could get her talking would just prattle on and on and on about what she'd read about. Or Merrick, my sweet boy Merrick, who would continually look out to the sea watching those birds. Like there was a song on the wind. I know my children. I don't know what Queen Xanthi would be like. King Edwin, Queen Kaylin, Queen Via, or King Merrick. I don't know who that would be. And that is what I intend to discover.
But isn't there supposed to be like a succession? Like your mom didn't choose between you and your brother. It just happened that way. So wouldn't it just be Edwin?
It is complicated, Via. And you see him
Does it
sort of
have to be?
shift uncomfortably. I have been very fortunate to have so many wonderful children. But due to the circumstances and the differences in which you were born and in which you currently live now, and the queen, the current queen, there is much disagreement within the noble houses as to who should be crowned. I fear that if I do not name an heir, the lords and ladies of this realm will inspire the collective of you to go to war with each other.
Well, what is the first thing we must do? I think that we've all asked our questions. Now it's a matter of what.
Yes. Wonderful. Lord Gareth, please. Of course, my king. Your first mission is to settle a land dispute within the lowlands. A disagreement between a vassal of my house and a vassal of Lady Valora Astalor's house. House Rivermore and House Melonith both claim a tract of farmland and the small village of Rosemont within the lowlands. Sadly, this has escalated quite a great deal. A few skirmishes have left 15 bannermen dead, as well as 5 farmers perished in the fighting as well. 2 farmhouses and tracts of land have been burned as well. This violence is unacceptable. I have called off the banner bearers of House Rivermore, as has Lady Valora, but the damage has been done. Prides have been wounded, and sadly, nor in my house library, nor in the great tomes of House Astoror, do we have any proof, one way or the other, of who the city of Rosemont belongs to. So, within the city itself, there should be some type of information about who the city has been promised to, who the lands belong to, and where they should fall. As part of this mission, because we want to see it succeed, and while we do not doubt your ability to do it, you will be accompanied by additional security, as well as your uncle, Rainier. He will be joining you on this mission to ensure that it goes smoothly. You'll be sent with a detachment of 20 Crown Watch, as well as each one of you will be given a 500 gold personal stipend to spend on what you wish, and an additional 2,000 gold will be allocated for any group expenses. In this particular mission, the Crown will cover the expenses of the Watchmen, but in future missions that will be needed to come out of the group expenses. After deliberation, Edwin, you have been assigned treasurer to track
the finances of the King's Hand. When all of you are ready to depart, Rainier will meet you at the inner city gates with the detachment of watchmen. And on top of that, my king, yes, most importantly,
and you can see he gets nervous as he kind of folds his hands one over the other.
your current abodes, you're moving out of Dragon's End, and you're moving to a fortified estate within the upper city of Crown's Rest. This estate is the headquarters of the King's Hand. Granted, it was last used during the reign of Alistair Draven. It is in a bit of disarray, but it's being repaired, it's being cleaned out, and when you return from your first mission, it should be clean, and it'll be yours to do with what you please. Its purpose, its design, the services that are offered, it'll be up to you what goes there. The first thing you wish to do with it when you return, it'll be covered by the Crown. Anything after that, you'll have to cover those expenses and whatever funds you earn or allocate from your missions.
When should we leave? Immediately or tomorrow?
Today, preferably. Take some time, go through and buy any provisions or materials you might need. The upper city is yours to shop through. But your uncle, he'll be waiting for you at the gate, so I wouldn't keep him waiting too long. Knowing him, he might leave without you if you're not ready by by midday. You make me very proud as your father. Please know that. But if there is nothing else, he'll look to you and he'll stand. I wish all of you luck, and I'm excited to hear back from all of you when you return.
He'll wait for a moment to see if there's any final questions.
Edwin kind of speaks up and says, Father, as everyone leaves, can I have a word with you alone?
Of course. Of course you may. Anything else?
Gesture for all of you to depart as he waits in the room for Edwin. Lord Gareth will leave. He'll get the door for all of you as you exit one by one by one. Everybody leaves the room, and it is just Edwin and Talon now. So he looks to you, an earnest smile on his face, and says,
What troubles you, my boy?
I have some questions, if you would indulge me.
Of course.
In your speech, you spoke of making sure you make the right decision for whom should rule. I know you did not use the word test, and I will not use it as well, but the obstacles in front of us to help you. You mentioned King Edwin. I am still under the impression that I have no claim to the throne.
I understand due to the nature of your birth, your lineage.
and you can see he's being extremely cautious. I mean, you know you're a bastard. He knows you're a bastard. His caution, with your passive perception, Edwin, or passive insight, I mean, of 15, something is bothering him. Something deeper down as he brings this up, but quickly fades away as he moves on.
The simple reality is, my boy, you are my eldest son. The people of Crown's Rest, most of Adaria love you. The common people. The Church of the Unbroken, Church of Unity, they speak so highly of you. The Church would love to see you be crowned. And the sad reality is that there are some lords of the realm that would rather plunge the nation into civil war than see one of your sisters crowned queen. They would prefer a man, even if he is a bastard. Sorry. not born of a noble line, take the throne.
Well, just know that I have not thought of the throne for many, many years. And I am okay where I am now. I have a wonderful life, a loving family, and that's all I need. I'm looking very much forward to being with my siblings again and going on these missions. But just know I am not reaching for the crown. If you choose any of them over me, I'm completely fine.
I'll keep that in mind, my boy. But you shouldn't keep them waiting. Although Rainier might not be blood, it seems as though some of them have inherited some of his personality traits. They'll leave you behind if you don't catch up.
I'm pretty sure Xanthi is already out the door.
I think she is too.
He stands up, bows, and then leaves the room. Edwin opens the door, looks over and sees them. Let's go shopping!
Okay. So, as all of you make your way through the keep of Dragon's End, the rain begins to stop. And the sky begins to clear. As you make your way in to the upper city of Crown's Rest, as the beginning of autumn is here, as the trees turn that bright yellow and orange, crisp gold and deep red. Statues of marble fountains decorate boulevards within the upper city of Crown's Rest. So, you all are here. There's a lot of places in Crown's Rest that you can go, things you could purchase. There is a rather extensive library and archive. There's an upscale market. One of the Temples of Unity is here. The Knight's Rest Armory, as well as the Swan Feather Lounge, if you're looking for any food or drink before you go. So, it is shopping. We'll kind of go this for brevity's sake. We won't roleplay every single thing. All right. So, Xanthi, you head to the Gilded Quill, and as you enter into the Gilded Quill, it is this sort of grand marble-fronted building adorned with towering stained glass windows.
We are looking for records in regards to claims for the city of
Rosemont.
As he begins to pull out various books related to the lands and holdings of House Milaneth and House Rivermore. What you find over the course of your hour is that the lords of the Lord of Rosemont was actually a house by the name of Serwyn. There was a keep that House Serwyn owned just south of an orchard that was near Rosemont, and they were the overseers of that city. However, House Serwyn was loyal to House Draven, and that keep has not been claimed by any noble house. So any record about who it might belong to or go to should they perish would be within Serwyn Keep, south of Rosemont.
When they get out, Via will look to Xanthi and say, well, I guess we should maybe start there, you know? Like, that should do it for us, right? We just go to House Serwyn and then we find who actually, you know, Rosemont's supposed to be to and then give it to them, you know?
Well, I mean, that'd be a fortuitous outcome, but given its previous holding, I wouldn't be surprised if it's more complicated than that.
I guess so. But what if we find out that it belongs to somebody that we don't want to have it?
Then we better come up with reasons why they shouldn't have it.
Kaylin, however, you begin moving around asking the nobility, right? The people that live in the upper city are nobles or wealthy merchants. Is there anybody in particular you're looking for here, or are you just looking for nobles in general to strike up a conversation with?
Is there like a popular tavern nearby, like that the nobles would frequent? Because people like to talk when they've had a few drinks.
Yeah, it is the Swan Feather Lounge. But you make your way in and you sit down at a table and you start to buy a couple of drinks as you find a couple of, not of Melanith or Rivermore, but a couple of vassals of House Brackenwood, which is a house very closely by. And if House Rivermore were to march to war with Melanith, House Brackenwood would be right there. They have always been very close-knit with Rivermore. So you sit down at the table with them and you start to buy them drink. How do you want to work your way into talking about what you're trying to get information about?
I feel like, you know, depending on like the vibe of the conversation, I think Kaylin would really talk up like House Brackenwood and how in the past, like their recent triumphs have really made a difference in small little not wars, but like skirmishes between other places, and how like they're just so important to the kingdom and so important to King Talon, and just trying to really butter them up, I guess.
My Princess Kaylin, you do us too much a great honor with your words. But honestly, very true in every aspect. House Thornfield, they'd be a sorry sight without House Brackenwood, isn't that right? That's right, cousin. That's right.
If one person were to be in control of the entire land down there, I mean, surely it would have to, go to House Rivermore?
Oh, you know, don't string me up for treason, but if I recall correctly, I believe that House Astralor was the one who founded that settlement. But even if House Astralor founded it, House Rivermore and House Thornfield has done 10 times for that land what House Astralor did. So what if they made the initial investment? Did they protect it from raiders? From bandits? No, they didn't. Who did? Brackenwood. Rivermore did. That's right. No need to get angry, cousin.
Well, if that's all, gentlemen, I think I'll leave you to your drink. Thank you very much for your information. I think I will take a look into the settlement that is down there. An old ruin might hold many secrets.
All right. With that, all of you then start to head towards that gate that leads out of the upper city, correct? Unless anybody had anything else. From the gate, from the caravans being loaded, the very familiar voice of your uncle, Rainier Falkrest. Well. If it isn't my darling nieces and nephews! Hello! I cannot tell you how excited I am to be out there in the wilds with all of you. I feel like there's so much you're going to learn. I got a collection of hunting tools here. Every single night on the road, the meal that we eat, we'll have hunted for it. And with that, the journey begins. As you move out of Crown's Rest, passing through the city streets, on each side of the caravan, 10 guards flank each side, each mounted on their own individual horses. You're in safe arms. And your uncle is a rather renowned fighter. He spent the past 12, 15 years serving as sentinel of the council. He's fought back so many monsters and evil, spectral, horrible creatures. Mechanically, Rainier is between a level 12 and a level 15 adventurer. Very strong. Very, very, very strong. You're in safe hands. Here we go.
John, didn't you say that Edwin wanted to talk to Merrick? Did I miss that?
It was the other way around.
Oh, Merrick wanted to talk to Edwin.
And Via.
And Via.
So yeah,
Together.
you guys, the three of you in the cart, riding along midday, traveling throughout the Crown Lands.
I think Merrick's just kind of like looking out the window for a little bit, trying to think about what to say. Are you two as worried about this whole thing as I am?
Yeah, I'm terrified.
I think you'll have to be more specific.
I think I picked up exactly what you were saying. I'm terrified. I'm really excited to do everything with you guys, but I don't know what I'm doing.
You have great talent, Via. You shouldn't undersell yourself like that. People have already died over this. I don't know. But in truth, that's the least of my concerns. I'm more worried about the five of us.
Why the
Perhaps
five
it's-
of us?
Maybe it's not my place to say, but I think Father's making a mistake.
In what way?
The five of us working together as his hand and using that to determine who's going to become his heir.
Do you mean in a way of in the eyes of the public or between our relationship as siblings?
Well, I actually think that's a good thing, because we've never really been able to do anything together. I'm not worried about that at all.
I don't think Father's making a mistake. We are all strong-headed individuals, yes. We all have our wants and our needs, but I think it's necessary.
Are either
You
of you even interested in the throne?
No. I've removed that thought from my mind many, many years ago.
I also never thought anything. I mean, I have 4 incredibly gifted older siblings that all have a great claim to the throne. Why would I even... It never crossed my mind till Dad talked to us about it. So I don't know. And I don't even understand who wants me, the youngest, who's done virtually nothing compared to all of you. So, I mean, I'm gonna do what Dad asked, but I'm not expecting anything from it. But Merrick, what about you? You seemed very in your head during the conversation with Dad. And I've been wanting to pick your brain about that.
For some of us, our relationships are rather strained. I'm concerned that Father's idea was to put us together in order to get past that. But I'm worried it's going to do more harm than good. I'm bringing this up to you two, because if you truly are disinterested in the throne, then I need you to make sure the three of us are staying on track. That when you report back to Dad, you don't just say nice things about your siblings because you love us. You have to tell them the truth. When we succeed and when we fail. This is too important,
I'll promise you
But-
that I will.
but this has the potential to get very ugly very quickly. And I'd rather avoid that.
All right. With that, day by day, comes closer and closer and closer until eventually you get to the 6th and final night. As all of you move away from the campfire. This night we don't start just at camp, we start out in the forest. Within the lowlands are rather ancient forests. They have been around for a really, really, really long time, and there are typically structures that are found here. However, Rainier has done a pretty careful job of making sure that whenever you went hunting, you weren't going near any buildings. However, on this night, as all of you are hunting, stalking through the woods, trying to find some type of boar or any other type of game animal, sneaking through the woods, you see a structure in the distance, maybe 20, 30 feet away from all of you. And Rainier, he sort of looks over.
Oh, everyone stop. That was not on the map. You all stay here. I'll be right back and make sure there's no one in there. All right?
Should you go alone?
I'll be fine. You all stay here. All right?
Okay.
And you see he kind of sets the javelin down and he unhooks a warhammer from his side, always keeping it on him, slowly moving towards the ruin. All of you sit and you wait. I'd like each of you to make a perception check. So, with, let's see, 22, a 17, a 7, an 18, and a 15. Edwin and Kaylin, you two, luckily, are able to catch it. You hear not the crunch of a twig underneath a human boot. You hear something a little bit larger, much larger footfalls lower to the ground, and you hear a slither almost. Both of you do. Edwin, Kaylin, the two of you share a look, and you know which direction it's coming from, two different ways. Edwin, you look to the south. Kaylin, you look to the north, and both of you point into the directions where these two large creatures are coming from. As they burst out of the trees, starting to dash towards all of you, these two ambush drakes, large, like Komodo dragon large drakes, no wings, but crawling quickly on all four legs, and you see four individuals wearing robes of black and gray slashed with green and red and black. Moving forward, their faces covered in a sort of like draconic mask carved of wood. Four of these individuals and two ambush drakes moving quickly towards you. And with that, lingering on the edge of combat, that is where we're going to go ahead and end tonight's session. Thank you all so much for watching. We really, really, really appreciate it, especially on this first night. So be sure to come back on Saturday. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't yet. Follow on Twitch. Subscribe on Twitch if you feel like we earned it from you, from this lovely cast of people that I got to play with tonight. And be sure to join the Discord server. We love having you there. We'd love to chit chat about it. There's tons of stuff. The players are there. You can ask them about ask them about their characters, and I'm sure they'd be happy to talk about them. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. I know I did. With that, we'll see you in the next one.
Ba-da-da-da.